The United Nations has once again proven why it should never be regarded as a serious institution in geopolitics, let alone a bastion of morality. On December 11, the General Assembly passed 2 resolutions that defy logic, leaving us all wondering, what just happened here? Let's start with the first resolution, AES 10/L.32. This resolution, supporting the mandate of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, or UNRWA, passed overwhelmingly, 159 votes in favor, 9 against, and 11 abstentions. So what's in this resolution? I'll tell you. Glowing self-praise for UNRWA, a plea for funding, and of course the usual rhetoric condemning Israel. But what's not in this resolution is even more telling. It makes no mention of the documented infiltration of UNRWA in Gaza by Hamas. That's despite clear evidence provided by Israel and others, evidence showing that Hamas commanders working for UNRWA played pivotal roles in the October 7 attacks, murdering and kidnapping Israeli civilians. It also doesn't mention that at least 10% of UNRWA staff are members of terror groups, or that Hamas has used UNRWA facilities as command centers, including a sophisticated data hub built under its headquarters in Gaza. But what about UNRWA's actual performance as a humanitarian aid organization? During the critical months from August to November, UNRWA delivered only a fraction of the aid entering Gaza, something like 13%. Yet it continues to claim it's the backbone of humanitarian response. Now let's move on to the second resolution, AES 10/L.33. This one demands an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Now on the surface it might sound almost noble, but dig a little deeper and you will see the cracks. You see, the key word here is unconditional. Such a ceasefire would abandon the remaining Israeli hostages in Hamas's hands, leaving them to languish in terror dungeons with no mechanism to ensure their release. It would also leave Hamas in power, free to regroup and repeat atrocities like those of October 7. The resolution's vision of a two-state solution? Naive, to say the least. It imagines 2 democratic states, Palestine and Israel, living side by side. Yet it conveniently ignores Hamas's grip on Gaza and the lack of any real democratic governance in the Palestinian territories. Let's not forget, the last Palestinian elections were held in 2006. Mahmoud Abbas, the leader of the Palestinian Authority, was elected in 2005 for a 4-year term. That term expired in 2009, yet he's still there 15 years later. Democratic? Hardly. The Palestinian Authority operates more like a kleptocratic mafia than a government. It pays pensions to terrorists and indoctrinates children with hate-filled textbooks. Resolutions like these don't demand reforms or accountability. Instead, they reward terrorism and corruption. They hand Hamas everything it's been asking for while betraying the values of justice, freedom, and fairness. It's deeply disappointing to see countries like Britain, Canada, France, and New Zealand support such resolutions. These are nations with proud histories of standing up to tyranny. Australia too has joined this abdication of moral responsibility, justifying its position by pointing to the so-called global consensus. But let's be honest, the majority of these voting nations aren't even genuine democracies. Great nations lead with moral clarity. They don't follow the herd. In April 2002, during another Israeli campaign against terror, former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan asked during another anti-Israel UN vote, "Can the whole world be wrong?" The answer, as history has shown time and time again, is an unequivocal yes.